Operation West Point, top of his class, Korea, airborne, about 1,000 decorations, etc., etc.
I love you in Wall Street!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reaction Shots for September. This is the official September episode, even though our August episode came out in September. It's a two-for month. Yeah, the squeakquel.
The Snyder Cut, if you will.
The Snyder Cut. This month we are going to talk about cameo appearances. No role too small. Only small actors. What is this saying? No small roles, only small actors.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We will also talk about James Earl Jones a little bit, and Maggie Smith also just passed away, but I hadn't put that in the prompt, so maybe we'll give her due next month, where we've got a little more prep. But
I think I just saw that.
rip to that legend of all time. That's a bummer. Yeah.
Sad.
But before we get into cameos,
Cameo.
let's talk about. I thought about going on Cameo and paying $100 to get Ed Begley Jr. to say hello to us, but then I forgot
That would have been very funny.
because he was in Strange Darling, which I really loved. So let's talk about what we've seen lately. What have we been watching? I think I haven't gone first in a minute.
Yeah, you should go.
Do
You
it.
should go.
Been watching a lot of good TV, obviously. I'm sure Huber will talk about The Penguin,
Penguin.
which I really enjoyed. From season 3 has been pretty chill so far. 2 episodes in. It's kind of annoying that seasons 1 and 2 are like free on Netflix and or Prime.
Yeah.
You know, free with subscription. But then season
Then you gotta
3,
cough it up.
season
Cough
3
up
you
the
have to
dough.
have MGM Plus, but that's owned by Amazon. So it's like, what is happening? Rings of Power caught up last night. That's pretty chill.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's my number one comfort cozy show.
That's
Oh,
my
it's awesome
thing.
to have one, isn't it? Isn't it
It's
something
so
you don't
nice.
have one? You're like, what's my cozy?
I
Where is it?
know.
Yeah, fully.
Every
Fully.
week Rings of Power is on. I'm just like, yes, hold me.
That's what I was thinking about with Sophia last night, and like, it's so weird that it's, you know, one of, if not the most expensive TV shows of all time,
Yeah.
and like, I mostly just watch it as like a chill out show. Like, nothing feels like it has any stakes.
I would love your opinion, Isla, because I feel like the budget is insane, but the money is being well spent. Like, I love the filmmaking of it. Like,
Yeah.
although anything with horses and fire
Yeah,
and like all the action and the
and
sets, like,
locations. Yeah,
yeah, everything looks so good.
to me, where you
There's
see
some bad parts here and there, but yeah.
where you see the budget best is like furniture and like set dressing and
Yes.
costuming, and like
Yes.
all of that looks real and legitimate and very good. Obviously, like, yeah, the filmmaking, the lighting is all good. I'm often surprised for a TV show that the CG looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot, I'm sure there's like infinite set replacement stuff that I never even notice. But then like the obvious CG stuff, like a, you know, troll or whatever, I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty good, dude, for a TV
okay,
show.
yeah.
Like, come
Nice,
on,
okay,
like, yeah.
sick. All
I mean,
right.
I'm not like precious about Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't give a shit. But like, I
Unintended.
like it, but I don't like, you know, like I'll Google the Wikipedia article for Tom Bombadil, you know. But like,
Is that a character in Lord of the Rings or an actor? Because that
Character.
sounds like it could be
character.
either.
It's a character, yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Rory Kinnear, which is fun. It's fun to see.
Killing
I
it.
guess, sorry, spoilers. Tom Bombadil's in there. I didn't
No,
really think
not
about
a
that being a
spoiler.
spoiler, but he's like my favorite thing in the show.
So good.
I love characters like that without getting specific, that are just kind of like vaguely cosmic, like, what's your deal kind of characters, you know, where you're just
Yeah.
like, are you a god? Like, what's happening? Like,
what are you?
yeah, what / who are you?
Eldest.
Love that kind of, yeah. I am the eldest. It's funny that people get so like cranky about Rings of Power when it's like
So cranky.
everything Tom Bombadil said was like literal quotes from the books. I'm like, that's just a poem that Tolkien wrote in like 1930 whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, how are they cranky? Tell me the
Oh
ways.
Lord.
A lot of creative liberties with the show.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
saying it's
so
like
they're-
it's not obviously like a one-to-one adaptation,
No.
but like nothing is. Like
Nothing
Jackson's
is.
wasn't.
Nothing is.
Like
Yeah.
they cut Tom
nothing is.
Bombadil out, for example,
Yeah.
of every other adaptation. I think.
I love that you said that. Nothing is. Everything is an adaptation.
Yeah, everything's an
Yeah.
adaptation, and no adaptation erases the original product. So
Exactly.
it's like, why be mad? Like either like it or don't. Like just watch it or don't. Like
Yeah.
Jessica's college thesis, she went to like a liberal arts honors college, and her thesis, it was like hundreds of pages long, was about like adaptations, film adaptations, and the
Awesome.
differences between books and film adaptations, and why they should take creative licenses, and
Yes.
why they should be different. And like it was brilliant. I mean, obviously
Sounds
I'm married to
awesome.
her and I think she's a genius, but separate from that,
No, she's a genius.
independently, I think this is a genius. Yeah.
I know her.
It made
She's
me
a
see
genius.
movie- Yeah, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, it made me look at movies totally differently after reading it. Yeah.
I mean, it's so
love
true
that.
though. Like, if, like, obviously there are some examples where it's like pretty 1-to-1 and it works. Like, No Country for Old Men comes to mind. That's like almost 1-to-1. But like, even that, the mediums are just different. You have to change them. And like
Exactly.
by just the act of pointing a camera at something, you're making a choice. So
Exactly.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like you can't not be subjective and change things in an adaptation. So why be mad about it? And I mean, like, bad faith, like, people just being racist, like, whatever. Your opinion doesn't even matter. But, like,
yeah.
Rule them out immediately.
no, yeah, it's like, okay, shut up. But, like, yeah. Anyway, I've enjoyed
I'm glad
that.
you like it a lot. That's cool.
Agatha all along, I really liked the first couple episodes. Episode 3, like, dragged a little for me, but,
I'm still in.
I still liked it. I still liked it. I still liked
down,
it.
Down.
Yeah.
Down the Witch's Road is in my head forever.
Yeah.
Love that song.
It was good.
Just put
It
it,
was good.
on. I put the song on again.
Really?
Like I
Hell
looked up
yeah.
that episode, hit up the song. Yeah.
That's what
I
I've been
wonder if they
doing
put
with
it online.
Rings of Power. Just like listening to all the music.
Dude, I'm so stoked for season 3 of Interview with the Vampire. Like, no spoilers,
away,
but the
though,
music
right?
is going to be insane.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
why-
when it is. They've put out
It's
teasers that are
far.
incredible.
Why would the music of season 3? Well, that would be a spoiler.
It would be a
I'm gonna have to
spoiler.
rack my brain
It
because I
would be a
watched
spoiler.
season 2 and I'm like, why would the music? But I'll have to look it up later and remind myself. Season 2 was great. I felt like it was not as good as the first season, but absolutely worth watching and fascinating. And the interviewer, what is that actor's name? I'm terrible with names,
yeah.
which makes me great for a movie podcast. To someone terrible.
I'm
with
blanking on his name right now. I do know it, but I can't remember right now.
Borgden or whatever.
Oh,
the
yeah.
real life actor.
Phenomenal. Yeah. All of them are great actors, but yeah.
Well, it's such an
show.
interesting show because you realize that it's all subjective and like
So many
unreliable.
layers of unreliable
There's like 4
narrators.
unreliable narrators going on, and it's just
Nested
like
narrators.
Yeah, it's
a
so
very
good.
classical tradition in literature,
Yeah.
but just like on nesting dolls, Russian nesting dolls of unreliable narrators. Yeah.
yeah, it's
phenomenal.
magnificent. But yeah,
Odyssey of Recollection.
the Odyssey of Recollection. If you're caught up though, and haven't seen the 2 teasers they've put out for season 3, one is a teaser and one is a song, and they're amazing.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's where I'm at for TV. Let's get into movies. I don't remember if I think we talked about Starvaker last month or earlier this month. Cool little folk horror with Morfydd Clark or whatever, the Galadriel, and Matt Smith, which I really liked. Very, classic, just kind of like brooding, increasing dread sort of a thing. Beetlejuice, I thought was really fun.
Yeah, you're into it?
Yeah, it
Good
had
things about it.
it had no stakes for me. I was just like, listen, I love Beetlejuice. I love early Tim Burton. He hasn't made anything good since probably Sleepy Hollow, but like
But you like the
Beetlejuice.
whimsical boomer
Yeah.
stuff.
Whimsical boomer stuff? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Call back to previous episode.
Yeah.
I liked it. I finally saw It Follows. I've been like watching stuff that I thought was too scary for me this month and finding out that I'm apparently impervious to fear now. I didn't think It Follows was scary. I really liked it. I thought it was cool. But
It's such a touching coming of age story. I thought it hit me on an emotional level rather than a fear level.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting going back to a movie like that was like so formative. Like it follows basically like kicked off like the A24 vibe kind of in some ways. And so it's just like to see a movie where I'm like, oh, that's where everybody got this from. Like, cool. I saw Cuckoo.
Was It Follows after The Witch?
What?
I feel like The Witch was also.
Oh, the timing of it?
The
I
Witch
can't
was
remember.
after,
Yeah.
I think. Let's
Yeah.
see.
It was definitely
It
right
Follows
around that
right
time
before.
period.
It Follows
yeah.
right before. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, The Witch was 2015, yeah. So It
Yeah,
Follows
those
is
two
right
movies. I feel like those two.
Those
like,
two,
and
yeah.
The Conjuring was like 2013. I feel like those three movies had like
I think The
big
Conjuring.
cultural impact.
Yeah, The Conjuring is like it like revolutionized the PG-13 like pop horror like arena, and then The Witch and It Follows were like, oh, we can make art house horror movies again. Like bring back the late 70s early 80s horror vibes. I saw Cuckoo and I was pretty disappointed. I really liked Hunter Schafer and my boy Dan Stevens' performances, but all in all, I thought it was a little undercooked. I thought like stuff kind of just was happening. Kind of similar for The Substance. I'm like the only person who maybe wasn't gaga for The Substance. I thought it was too long. Like, I loved a lot of parts of it, but I was like, this could have been 45 minutes shorter. Like, I was pretty checked out for the middle part of it, because I was just like, yeah, I got it. I get it.
Same.
I was like, yeah.
Have you seen The Substance, Huber?
No.
Okay. I've gone back and forth on The Substance every day since I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I found it largely unenjoyable in the middle, like you said. I really want to keep myself in check because I don't want to ruin anything for people who watch it, because it is still such an experience to watch it. I like movies that really go out on a limb. I like that. Whether
100% worth seeing, and worth seeing in theaters. Like, bonkers movie.
Yeah. And like you said, there was a point very much where I was like, I get it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And again, very easy thing for me and a different experience as a guy to say for me, I get it. And I had this with the Barbie movie too, where very, very dude privileged to be like, oh shit, this is what it's like. But like when it was like enough already with the like the women exercising and like the like over stylized body shots where
extreme
I was just like,
sexualization.
Yeah, just like in your face. And I was like, oh, this must be what it's like to be a woman and be like, enough of these images in your face. Where like as a guy, like I hate to say it, but a lot of times I'm like, cool. Yes, this is great. Please, a lot of these images. I hate to say it, but
no,
like
I mean hell.
To be like as a dude in the world being like, cool, all of this is for me. Yes, give me these images. But like seeing The Substance, I was like, oh, enough. I've hit my limit with this imagery. And then the message checked in for me where I was like, Oh,
Yeah.
maybe this is what so obnoxious for me to admit this, but it was like, oh, this must I experienced. Like I've known what it's like on an intellectual level. Like, sure, it must be terrible to, go through life as a woman and be saturated with all these images. But then I experienced it. I
Yeah.
experienced it enough already. Moment.
Maybe it isn't too long then, because like maybe like for me it was like it was a really interesting, and I'm trying not to obviously get into any specifics, but like obviously it deals with sexualization and like aging and like the commodification of women's bodies, and like some of it is like very overt but very on purpose, and like it's really interesting because it was directed by a woman and the DP was a man, and I wonder if that was like a intentional choice that she made, because like it feels like weaponized male gaze. It's like parodying the male gaze. Because obviously, if you haven't heard, I'm a lesbian. So it's like, I enjoy looking at women as well. But like, you can tell pretty immediately if it's female gaze or male gaze. And like, I usually don't find male gaze stuff titillating. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't find it attractive generally. And like, this was, it felt like that on crank. And it was just like, okay, obviously this is intentional. Like you are saturating it and like making it so absurd and so down the barrel that it's like, okay, I see what you're saying. The funny experience that I had with the movie was like, especially, as I'm like, encroaching on 40 myself, and it's just like, yeah, the looking at your crow's feet in the mirror and like this kind of stuff is like, it's terrifying and it's awful. So I was kind of like on board with the messaging pretty immediately, and I was like, yeah, this sucks. And like I kind of figured what the maybe moral would be, and I kind of wanted it to say another thing, like to add to it kind of. Mm-hmm. And like it was very affecting and very effective. So it's like, it's by no stretch a bad movie. I think it's a very good movie. But yeah, I was kind of just like waiting for it to develop a little more in the middle. But I think maybe in a weird way, it wasn't for me. Like you said, like the oversaturation and the like barrage made you feel it. And now I hadn't thought of that perspective. And I think maybe it's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe that wasn't for me. Cause it's like, I already get it. Mm-hmm. So it's like maybe forcing you to feel it. That's kind of interesting. You're making me reevaluate this movie, actually. Yeah, you're making me like it more.
It's very one note.
Yeah.
It's very one note on the piano until it smashes the piano into pieces.
Yeah, until it smashes the piano so hard that blood goes everywhere. Yeah. I mean, it's a hoot, and like the practical effects alone are worth it. Like it's a phenomenal, just joyride of practical effects. A Quiet Place Day One I watched. It was very difficult for me because like, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's like literally the first thing you see in the movie, but like, Lupita's character starts in hospice for cancer, which for me personally is just incredibly difficult to watch. And like, I finished the movie, but like there were a couple of times where I was just kind of like looking away, and it wasn't any of the horror stuff. It was the like, she's slowly dying stuff. I was just like, I can't look at this or I'm going to start like weeping. So, I mean, it was a good movie, but it was a hard movie. Saw Inside Out 2. I thought it was really cute. But my highlight from this month was Strange Darling. I fucking loved Strange Darling. It was... Have you seen Strange Darling?
No, I've been dying to find it, and I cannot find it anywhere in my town. And I've heard things that make me don't want to hear anything about it.
I'm not going to say shit. Yeah, it was only at the Alamo here, I think, in LA, or maybe a few theaters. Yeah, it is worth going in knowing literally as little as you possibly can. I will give you a little teaser. Giovanni Ribisi is the DP.
Love Giovanni Ribisi.
Which is wild. Yeah. He's just like, hey, let me shoot a movie. And I'm like, okay.
Cool.
And it looks great.
He's an interesting actor, too.
Yeah, he's great, yeah. Yeah, I loved it. And it is brash and wild and crazy. But yeah, the less you know, the better. So I'm going to stop talking about it. But huge recommendation for Stranger Darling.
Cool. It comes out streaming like early October, so I
Cool,
can't wait.
okay.
I've literally looked every day for the past month. I'm like, where can I find it?
Yeah,
So,
like
um,
big fun theater if you can, but like you won't lose anything in the translation, I think. Excuse me, to a small screen.
Nice.
Cool. Great. Yeah, I'm excited that you like it.
Yeah.
That increases the chances I will too. So
Not that I want to. I'm excited what you think of it. I'm excited to hear what you think of it.
I'm impervious to parasiting.
Wow, I'm very not. I'm very susceptible.
Hype increases my hype. Hype increases my hype.
Oh,
so
okay.
it gets me hyped up.
I'm like 80% with you. Sometimes I can get parasited, but not that often. But when I do get parasited, I get freaking parasited.
Yeah. Hubie, what have you watched lately?
I saw Speak No Evil with McAvoy.
Oh, how is it?
Fantastic.
Really?
Fantastic.
Oh, sick.
Very, very highly recommend. Just a very entertaining watch. Every minute is good.
I love that.
Just a real slow burn. Settle into it. Really, really good. Like you can't even spoil it because you know everything
the trailer
that's going to
seems
happen.
to give away a lot.
You know everything, and it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. Is
it a Halloween watch? Is it a horror movie?
Early October, I'd say.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I love your gradient of horror for October. That you
A
do.
good first week of October movie, absolutely.
Oh,
I had to see it before October because I didn't want it to like leave the theater or whatever,
Yeah.
and I had free time, so I was like, I'm just gonna go.
It's an advent calendar.
Yeah.
Open the door
exactly.
each day.
Oh, I forgot to say I watched because Sophia wanted me to give Faye de Alvarez another shot. We watched the Evil Dead remake, and I liked it. I quite liked it. It was fun. So yeah,
I love it. I love that.
Haven't
movie.
seen Rise yet. Gotta watch that one. But
Same.
okay, sorry.
I'm gonna parasite everyone because it's like the best movie I've seen in 10 years. The Wild Robot.
Oh,
Yeah, like
The
I don't even know where
reviews
to
I just
begin.
saw today. Yeah,
I don't even know where to begin with this movie. This movie needs to be seen. That's it.
Fuck.
That's all I'm gonna say. Go see this movie like
DreamWorks,
immediately.
dude.
Bring all your loved ones. Hold your loved ones. Bring them. Like this is the movie. This is oh god, it's so good.
is it
It's
like
so
big
good.
big feels movie?
Big feels.
Oh no,
Big,
Oh, no.
so much feeling. I was crying like the entire movie,
Oh,
but like
no.
good tears. Yeah, it's good tears, sad tears, all the tears. This is a tearjerker. It's really good. It's so good. Like this movie is triumphant. Like you gotta go. You gotta see The Wild Robot. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Then just the other shows we talked about earlier.
You saw Rebel Ridge, which I haven't seen yet.
Rebel Ridge was so good.
I'm
Highly recommend
so
that.
I've been meaning
excited
to
to
see.
watch
I've been
it.
meaning to see that every
Yes.
time it kind of goes by. I remember your talk last
Yes.
episode, Huber, and I've been like, oh, it's a Huber recommendation. I gotta
Great.
see
It's
it.
great.
Is it Halloween viewing also? Because that might
No.
factor into like, is it
No.
got thrills? Because I know Green Room had
Yeah.
thrills. That's kind of Halloweenish.
Yeah,
This
no, you
one's
throw
not
this on
Halloweenish.
whenever. Yeah, whenever.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
so good. Great movie.
Yeah, I forgot you mentioned that one last time. Yeah, that
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. Ugh.
Yeah. Love Rebel Ridge. But yeah, The Wild Robot. Do it.
Wild
Do
Robot.
it. Do it. It was actually really nice. Like one of those movies, because it's like a kid's animated movie, and like saw it in the theater Saturday at like 5 p.m. prime time.
Yeah.
But just like every once in a while when it would get quiet and you would just like hear the kids like rummaging around, it was actually like really nice. I was like, this rules.
Yeah. Sometimes seeing a movie that's like a kids movie, like with kids in the theater is a
Yeah,
joy because
it
like
is.
you get to hear their almost like participatory reactions. Like
yeah.
I remember
Oh
Yeah, exactly.
The wonder of a kid like seeing something. I was
Yeah.
like, this fucking rules.
I remember two examples come to mind. I remember seeing Up, and like you know, they have that beginning montage where it's like going through their lives together, and it's like they go to the maternity place, and like a little girl up front was like, she can't have babies, and it's like, that's all without words. And I was like, wow, okay, this kid got it. And they sounded like 5, I don't know, like young. And I was like, okay, wow, this is like effective ass storytelling. And then I remember seeing Rango in theaters, the lizard movie, the lizard redo of Chinatown. Mm-hmm. And I remember being shocked at the effectiveness of marketing, because like, this is a new IP, new character, and like a couple minutes into I can't remember if it was in the trailers or into the movie, a little kid goes, "Where's Rango?" And I was like, oh my God, you haven't even met Rango yet, kid. Like, wow. Oh yeah?
I forgot about, what were you going to say though? Talk about what?
I want to talk about the penguin with you, but to do what you're going to do.
We talked about it briefly when I saw you in person. Cachet.
Oh my God, you finally watched Cachet.
I watched Cachet.
We have to talk about that. Yes.
Michael Haneke.
Haneke.
Oh, this movie's fucking uncomfortable.
Oh hell yeah! It's like
uncomfortable.
It's best. Yeah.
God.
It's one of my favorite movies.
God, have you seen it, Matthew? Have you seen
No. I need to.
You've never seen Cachet?
I like the director.
Oh my God.
I like the director, but yeah, I haven't seen this one.
Ooh.
One of those movies where, Matthew, I'm going to speak your language. You love when I say this. Static camera shots.
Oh yeah. It's in my heart.
Yes.
It's in my heart.
Dude.
Not
like,
only static camera shots, but like
static.
The most static, long takes, and to make it even more intense, no fucking music.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
music.
right there. That's
Just
all.
boom.
That's all I need to hear.
Cachet is like, I mean, Haneke is like the god of this, but like the most dread buildup, like,
my God,
ever.
That's also my language.
Yeah.
It is.
This is all
incredible.
So uncomfortable.
A on the report card already.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it in a number of years, but like, it's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah. And I think I've realized too recently, and this kind of happens in Speak No Evil a little bit. As I'm older now, things like demons and psycho killers don't get me like scared really. What really gets me to my core is this real life problems that people have in these like horror thriller movies where it's like this person lost their job or their marriage is on the fritz or somebody in their family is sick. It's just like when you combine that with just the slow building dread of the movie, like I can't take it sometimes. I just get so anxious. And that's Cachet of just like, oh my God, you start thinking about just your own life and everything. It's just like so much more horrifying than Jason Voorhees or
Ingmar Bergman's the king of that cinema. Yeah,
I need to watch more Bergman. It's like a big, huge blind spot for me.
Get that Criterion box set. God, it's got like 50 movies in it or something like that. And
I remember
each one of them is perfection. Yeah.
What's the chess with death one? The
Seventh Seal.
Mm-hmm. I remember my mom saying that was like her favorite movie, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Mom sounds amazing. I mean, for many reasons, but another. Yeah,
Cachet is bananas, and like when you go back in a movie and like rewatch certain shots to just be like, wait, what? Who is that? Like in the distance? Oh shit! Like makes you just like rethink stuff. It's bananas. Like Cachet is fucking crazy. I love that movie.
It's so good.
Oh my God, I watched so much shit. I keep forgetting. I watched a Spanish show I think it's Spanish, called Past Lives, and it has the woman from The Skin I Live In, one of my favorite movies of all time. Good. It's good so far. I'm 3 episodes in. Anyway.
Sick.
Tell me about the Penguin, Huber.
Penguin is so good.
I've seen one episode so far.
Penguin is my favorite shit of all time because it is Batman and it is a crime drama. Those are like my favorite thing. I love the mafia stories. I love the criminal underworld type stuff. And I think I am just going to say, I wonder if you agree or not. I seriously think after one movie and one episode that Colin Farrell's Penguin character is immediately a classic.
Oh
Iconic.
yeah,
Like-
it is crazy that that's him. He is gone.
He
in
is
there.
like, this is all like, his character is already so legendary. Like, I'm just blown away by him. And I really liked how they're setting up. They're like showing you a classic Batman trope and tale through the eyes of the villains, and I love that. I love that.
Well, and what's so like, because for me, mobster stuff, gangster stuff is usually like, it usually skirts the line of my problem with like unlikable protagonists and stuff, or like stuff where like it gets a little too close to the just like, yeah, you did this to yourself, man.
Yeah, like you are a scumbag.
Yeah, it's like, you deserve this. You did, like, I don't care about you. You did this to yourself. You made bad choices. But like, the Penguin has so many characters and relationships, even in the first episode, that I'm like, oh, I'm all in on this. Like, this is so strong, and like, yeah.
So good. I cannot wait to just see how this all plays out. Like, I'm ready. And it feels like it's been so long because episode 1 debuted on Batman Day, which was a Thursday.
Right.
And then the show but is on a Sunday. So it's been like 10 full days.
I was confused.
It feels like it's been forever.
Dude, yeah, we were looking at our, like, trying to catch up on some of our shows yesterday, and I was like, certainly there's, I feel like it's been too long. But it was weird because we had the best possible case with From, where we somehow missed a week, but didn't think we did. So we watched that, and then we were like, when does this show come out? And then she was like, tomorrow. And I was like, what? It's like, oh, sick. But yeah, this one, I was like, where the hell is it? Is that it?
The kid from Penguin, he was in Runaways, the Marvel show.
Oh, yeah.
And he's super, I love this kid. He's so good.
Yeah.
So it's always so funny when you tune in to watch a show.
Underutilized in that one, I think, in Runaways.
Definitely. It's so funny when you tune into a show or watch something, you know, like Agatha. It's like, okay, I'm going to watch Agatha. And then like Teen is the best character. You're like, who is this character that I knew nothing about that I'm now obsessed with? It's like, okay, awesome.
Well, and it's so... I've said this 1,000 times, but like writing kids and especially writing teens and especially writing teenage girls is like such a fucking tough ask, because it's like, they're annoying. And like, so it's like, if you're writing them right, they're kind of annoying, but it's like, it's hard to make a character likable and irritating at the same time. It's like, I know you're making these choices because of your like raging hormones, but at the same time, like, be likable. Like, anyway. Anything else? All right, Matt, what do you got? What weird shit have you been watching?
Yeah, some weird shit. As always, last night...
How many Criterion movies?
A couple. A good handful. Yeah, a good handful. Last night I watched one. Well, not a Criterion movie. Last night was the debut of Uzumaki on Adult Swim, which is the Junji Ito.
Ito, yeah.
Right there.
You're pointing at it? The book? Graphic novel?
Yeah,
or
right there, yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the graphic novel is one of my favorites. I wear the t-shirt all the time.
Watch it tonight.
There's a woman with a spiral in her eye, because that's what my face feels like all the time. I have a condition that makes my face feel like that. Anyway, hard to identify. But anyway, so I've always loved that graphic novel. But anyway, the anime adaptation debuted last night, and it was good. It was really, really, really good, which I know they've struggled with. I have not seen any of the bad ones because people said don't watch them, and so I haven't. This one was great. It was really, really great.
And there's 4 episodes, right? There's gonna be 4.
Yeah. This is the first.
What is it on?
HBO.
It was on Adult Swim. And then it's on
Max.
HBO now. Yeah. So it's very easy to watch. And then I don't say this to be glib. There was a intense hurricane that has destroyed a lot of the southeast. For a lot of the past week, it was headed directly towards Tallahassee, which is where I live. And if you looked at any of the maps or National Geographic, they sent their big hurricane expert to our city. It was like, headed towards Tallahassee, my city. And we were like, oh shit. So like, we spent all week just looking at these maps of spirals and tornadoes headed towards our like house. And the power went out, and I was listening to the radio with batteries, like what do we do? And just at the last like half hour, like it spun away from our house, and we were like, oh, thank goodness it didn't get us. And I'm very sorry for everyone else who has suffered from it, because it looks bad in a lot
Yeah,
of
it looks
places.
bad.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of reasons I watch horror movies is because it helps me process things that have happened in my life. And so watching Uzumaki immediately after this hurricane with all these spirals
Jeez,
of
yeah.
tornadoes that destroy this town was scary and cathartic. So watch out for that if you are in the southeast and don't want to see something with spirals, or watch it if you do want to see something with spirals. For me, I was like, yes, soothing.
I embrace it too. Yeah.
Horror processing. Uzumaki was excellent.
Hell yeah.
So excellent.
How long is
Very,
an
very,
episode? Are they like 30 minutes?
They're the standard 24 minutes.
Okay,
And
there's just gonna be
so-
4 of them, man. That's quick.
Yeah, it is quick for such a big
Jeez,
graphic
yeah.
novel, but
Yeah.
like it was good. It was
Okay.
they moved through the time in clever and succinct ways.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very well done. Highly recommend it. Yeah, don't worry, you won't. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you love it the way I love it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. They did it right. They did it right. So yeah, check it out, Huber. I watched Mr. Vampire, which is a Criterion channel right now, has this they have this little banner of collections sometimes.
Yeah.
One of theirs is Hong Kong Hopping Vampires.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the better ones. I saw this a long time ago and I revisited it without knowing it was a revisit. Oh, it's one of the better hopping vampire movies. So clever, so creative. You'll see like heads spinning off of bodies. You'll see all kinds of glowing psychedelic effects. Watch it. If you want to see a hopping vampire movie, it is one of the better ones. Mr. Vampire, track it down. I think it's early mid 80s, something like that. So good, so good. Good early Halloween, good first week of Halloween movie.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
I watched Communion with Christopher Walken. Also first week of Halloween.
Hell
or just
yeah.
pull it out of the wacky grab bag. Such a strange movie. If you've never heard of Communion with Christopher Walken,
Wacky grab bag
Yeah.
with Christopher Walken.
yeah, this is a Christopher Walken showcase. If in the same way that if you're like, what is the most Nicolas Cage movie?
Long
The
legs.
Communion might be the most Christopher Walken movie. It is the adaptation of a non-fiction UFO abduction novel.
Oh.
Whitley Strieber is one of the very early. I was abducted by aliens and they did terrible things to me on their spacecraft.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, and Christopher Walken plays the main character who wrote this
Dude.
novel. And he's like, I'm not going to do a Christopher Walken impression because it won't be good. But he's like, what's that creature? Why is it
What's
in my
that
house?
creature?
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
What is an alien in my house?
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta have a communion.
If you want an entire movie of Christopher Walken, he plays it straight. It may be
Dude.
his best serious acting, but you will get
Whoa.
full Christopher Walken. A
Damn.
human role. He plays it, with passion
Humanity.
and humanity, exactly. But you get all Christopher Walken. You get all his exclamations, all his weird
Is it-
pauses and commas and
Is it
periods.
similar to Fire in the Sky? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
I have not seen Fire in the Sky, but I've heard a lot about it.
That
so
is
from what
a-
I've heard described, yeah.
That is a late October movie. Fire in the Sky freaks me the fuck out.
This
Whoa.
one is freaky and goofy. So it's freaky.
Fire in the Sky, a little
because it's-
goofy, yeah.
This is freaky because it's goofy.
Oh.
You're like, that's odd. That's surreal and odd. So it's like uncanny and odd. The the aliens aren't scary, but they're just off to the center. You're like,
Cool. Dude, I'm gonna
Almost
watch this.
believable. Yeah,
I'm totally gonna watch this.
watch a trailer and you'll be intrigued. So yeah. And then Seance on a Wet Afternoon. That is a Criterion black and white movie. Seance on a Wet Afternoon. It's about seances. It is about a couple who kidnaps a kid. It's a black and white British movie. This couple has a very harebrained scheme where they, for noble intentions, noble, not really noble, but noble intentions, kidnap this kid for a scheme that you will find out if you watch the movie. You're like, why are they kidnapping this kid? They say it's for good reasons, and you think something is up with these people, and it is revealed throughout the movie why they did it and what their problem is. And Richard Attenborough, who wrote the book it's based on and plays one of the main people, the acting phenomenal, the cinematography phenomenal, the blocking phenomenal. It's got like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Bunny Lake is Missing kind of moods. It's a nice Halloween kind of early Halloween mood, but like, yeah, very, very like good character study.
Sick.
That's me for the last couple weeks.
Awesome. See,
Sounds
you
great.
did not disappoint.
Communion hype.
Yeah, Cameo is weird. It's weird. It's not a thumbs up for great, but it's a thumbs up for you will have had an interesting time. You will come away like, okay, I saw something I've never seen before.
Have you seen Fire in the Sky, Isla?
No. When did it come out?
93. It's got
gonna
D.B.
say-
Sweeney and Robert Patrick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know.
Bill Pope, cinematographer.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen that one.
I've heard a lot about.
I've heard
It
about
is.
it. Yeah.
It is X-Files.
Yeah.
It's an X-Files episode. So I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's like so X-Filesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super
Before
good. I
he
really
was
like that one.
in X-Files, I think.
Yeah, Robert Patrick, yeah.
Okay. Boop boop boo. This month we're talking about cameos.
Cameo.
And like as usual in reaction shots, everything counts. Even if they're like, you know, a supporting actor that's in half the movie, whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
I was gonna wonder the parameters there. Like, how long is it a cameo?
The parameters are if someone talks about it, we accept you and we love you and we hold space for you and it's a cameo and you're correct.
That's great.
We agree with everyone listening to this.
Yeah, I love that. I love a broad definition.
Because to me, like, and I mean, I even mentioned it, like, Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, you know, he's in the first quarter of the movie and he won an Oscar for it, but he's in like
the movie.
14 minutes of the movie, right? But it's like so powerful. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I count that. Like,
When I think of the movie, I think of him.
yeah, I mean, his role is just fantastic. So yeah, whatever. I specified this. I was like, characters that prove there's no small parts, whether it's a funny 3-second pop in or a 15-minute stint, these are the best ones. And then so I asked our patrons at patreon.com/reactionshots, check it out, support us, chuck us a buck, $3 a month. You get to be in the conversation. You get in our Discord, the film club. Yeah, that's it.
That
It's simple.
Discord. You are all so wonderful in there.
The Discord is
enjoy
magnificent.
reading all those comments. Thank you.
But yeah, I asked, and we'll just kind of weave all of this in as it comes. But I asked what their favorite cameo is. I asked what their favorite James Earl Jones role is, and then just anything random they want to talk about. Fede Crow, first up. If Patreon maybe changed how they do this because he says, "I hope I make the cut," which means they were last. So I guess Patreon's flopped it now. It's last comments first. Whatever. We always try to get to all of them. So they say, I hope I make the cut. There are too many cameos to count, and a lot of my favorites have already been mentioned in the other comments. John, well, you're first, so hey, you get them. John Hurt in Spaceballs. That's so funny. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Very good.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. So I'll mention some of from TV since I don't see them that much in the comments. First of all, Christopher Reeve in Smallville, well, more of an actual role than a cameo, being the first person in the show that reveals the existence of fate, that reveals the existence and fate of Krypton will forever be iconic. Britney Spears randomly showing up in both Sabrina the Teenage Witch and How I Met Your Mother is something we don't get that much anymore. And finally, then Vice President and current President Joe Biden showing up in Parks and Rec. was surprising to say the least. Oh yeah, like she like love Joe Biden? I don't know if my favorite, but I haven't seen this James Earl Jones role mentioned in the comments. I'll always remember James Earl Jones playing an African dictator in House MD, as it shows how terrifying of a presence he could have when playing a villain, even besides his voice. Yeah, true. He definitely could be powerfully creepy when he wanted to. For this month's corrections, Scavenger's Reign was released in 2023, not 2024. Although it came to Netflix in 2024, so that might be part of the confusion. Yeah, I watched it on Max in 2023. I just want people to watch that show. I don't know what we said. I don't remember what we said about it, but that show is incredible, and everyone should watch it. It's on Netflix now. While not confirmed, Lieutenant Ellen Ripley probably wasn't the first human being in the alien universe to utter the phrase, "Get away from her, you bitch," specifically considering the movie takes place in the year 2179. So someone saying that phrase a few decades earlier doesn't break canon. Yes, it does. Did I just use a correction to comment how I don't understand that particular criticism of Alien Romulus? Yes, I did. You know they're quoting aliens. Don't be silly. P.S. Speaking of which, the director of Alien Romulus is called Fede Alvarez, so we share the first name. Yeah. You've been doing a great job pronouncing it, but in case you ever wonder how it's pronounced with different accents, just watch interviews with him. Oh, so he might say it differently. Every time in my head, I'm like, FedEx, Fede Alvarez. Or no, yeah. Fede Krauch. That's how I try to do it. Love and respect, they say. Cotolito says, my favorite cameo is John Hurt reprising his role of Kane from Alien in Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, yeah.
It's so good. It's so funny.
good.
When he goes,
Of course.
it's at the very end.
Yeah.
When he goes, oh no, not again. So
I
good.
may have seen that before I saw the
I think I probably
aliens when I
did.
was a kid.
I think I probably did too, yeah. And then the hello, my baby, hello, my darling, like dancing alien
dancing thing, yeah.
chest burster. It was an expertly made piece of parody that would not have hit as hard if it was not actual John Hurt exclaiming "not again" when the alien burst through. Yeah, so good. And the fact that it takes place in space, a space truck stop, is the icing on the cake. The Martin Sheen cameo in Hot Shots Part 2 is also incredible. I think that those two represent my favorite type of cameo, when it is built completely around a specific character played by a specific actor. Yeah, I love the legitimacy of getting the actual person to do a cameo is just, it can't be understated. It's so good. I mean, I wonder if anyone, like sometimes when it's just themselves or sometimes when it's the character that they played, you know, like Bill Murray showing up as, I think, himself in Zombieland. Like that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Codalito says, my favorite James Earl Jones role is Tulsa Doom in Conan the Barbarian. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Vader, but when I think about full-body James Earl Jones acting, I think of high bangs, weird headpiece, and snake magic. He looks absolutely ridiculous, but commands every scene he is in with such authority that none of that matters. I would even go so far as to say that James Earl Jones carries that movie at least as much as Schwarzenegger's biceps. Rest in peace and eternal love and respect. Classic. I've never seen that, Conan the Barbarian.
It's been a long time since I've seen
Same,
it.
it's
Maybe I saw
so
parts of it on
long.
TV as a kid. I don't know. I want to watch She as Conan. I haven't seen that yet either. Classic anime of the month is A Wind Named Amnesia from 1990. It is set in 1999. The most sci-fi year imaginable back then. 2 years
1990X.
Yeah, 1990X. 2 years after a mysterious event completely wiped the memory, including speech, of every person on the planet. The story follows Wataru, a young man who, through chance, regains his faculties and then goes on a journey through a post-apocalyptic USA to figure out what makes us humans. It's an early example of the headier thought piece type of anime that really blossomed during the 90s, and I'm really happy to finally see it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tokyo Slim says, in my personal opinion, the greatest cameos are surprises. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder was both unexpected and hilariously off-brand.
So funny, dude.
I love it. Like the fact that he's
so
playing,
funny.
like, I mean, like Tom Cruise, you know, not a perfect person, obviously,
Funny as
like
shit.
Scientology, whatever.
Ever.
But like playing like every shitty Weinstein, whatever, like executive, and then like having giant hairy hands was his idea, apparently. Very strange. Despite being a star-studded cast, Tom Cruise is undeniably the biggest star in that movie, and he was nearly unrecognizable as Les Grossman. I've seen people that don't even know it's him until the end credits roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm both disappointed and delighted to be the first to bring this up. It's so weird going backwards. It like doesn't work for this show, but whatever. Maybe I can flip it, but I don't want to fuck with it right now. The greatest cameo by far in any film in my lifetime, Matt Damon in Euro Trip. Taking a day. Matt Damon has some amazing cameos.
He has so many cameos.
His Thor cameo is so
Yeah.
good. Taking a break from shooting one of the Bourne films in Prague, he jaunted over to this little low-budget, raunchy indie comedy set as a favor for one of his old buddies and unleashed Scotty Doesn't Know upon the world. The band backing him, Lustra, wrote it, and it actually became pretty well known after this movie.
Yeah, I
I've never
remember.
seen this movie.
Eurotrip?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a teenage classic.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it. It's a lasting legacy, but Matt Damon just strutting out on stage with weird piercings and tattoos and singing about all the ways he's defiled our lead character Scotty's now ex-girlfriend under his nose is peak cameo. He's actually been pretty great in most of his cameo appearances. In Thor Ragnarok, too. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is his cameo is very funny. Then James Earl Jones, I know I'm the only one that I unironically loves the John Boorman acid trip 70s hippie techno babble in Exorcist II The Heretic, but it features James Earl Jones dressed up as a giant locust. That and Field of Dreams, Conan the Barbarian, I guess his surprise cameo in The Sandlot are my favorite. Yeah, I mean, The Sandlot was like, as a kid, just like the peak for me of him. Like, finding out like that scary guy is actually super nice is just such a nice. And Field of Dreams is so good, yeah. Yeah, to me, I as a kid I associated him with like baseball because of those two movies, which I'd never thought about until right now.
Yeah.
All the girls love that one boy from The Sandlot. And I was like, who cares? They should love me instead. Who cares about The Sandlot? Love me.
Which kid?
I don't even remember, some handsome boy from The Sandlot. I just want all the attention. Attention should always be on me, not some handsome boy from The Sandlot. It was probably some girls I liked, you know.
I did not have that
Don't
issue.
like a movie star, like me instead.
It's so funny. Carl Williams says favorite cameos: Martin Sheen in Hot Shots Part 2. A cameo I never got when I saw this movie as a kid because I never knew who Martin Sheen was, but that changed obviously years later. And since I have seen Platoon, Apocalypse Now, and Wall Street, I recognize that the cameo itself has multiple layers to it, which has made it even more funny. I've seen Hot Shots Part 2, but I don't remember this cameo.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he does in it? I mean, obviously I can
No.
picture him perfectly in Apocalypse Now.
My neighbor had the VHS.
Of Hot Shots Part 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw it in theaters. I remember.
Dude, that's
Pretty
sick.
sure. The naked...
Well, don't they recreate the scene in Hot Shots Part 2 of
It's-
like
it's one of
sweating
those parody
underground?
movies.
Yeah,
I think it's-
yeah.
yeah,
So I
he's
wonder
like-
what like Martin Sheen comes in and does.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to watch it after. I feel like I'm going to be doing some YouTubing after this.
Yeah.
The Naked Gun, you have Weird Al Yankovic just having a brief cameo appearance out of the blue. He's got some good ones, too. You have multiple baseball, sports broadcasters, and Dr. Joyce brothers. And you have Baseball Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson trying to assassinate the Queen of England. What more could you ask
So
for?
good. God, I love that movie. I love all the Naked Gun movies so much. I gotta put those at the top of my list for comedies, like right up there.
I loved
So
the naming
good.
conventions of all those movies as a kid. I was
33 and a third.
33 and a third.
Yeah.
Hot Shots Part 2 is so good.
Gun's so crazy good. I love him.
I like Leslie Nielsen.
I loved him.
I was a big Leslie Nielsen head as a kid. I even liked Dracula Dead and Loving It at the time. Rewatching it, I was like, oh, this isn't great, but whatever. Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Rundown. It could be considered as a passing of the torch, since this is The Rock's first or second action movie where he's the main lead, and you think he's going to be the next Arnold in terms of getting people to see his movies and having some charisma. Unfortunately, The Rock's output has been hit and miss, with some notable stinkers like Baywatch and Black Adam, and he's not at all likable like Arnold. His ego is as big as his muscles.
Jeez.
I will say, though, that I did like his cameo in the next movie I will mention below, The Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, and Derek Jeter in The Other Guys. Oh, The Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, and Derek Jeter in The Other Guys. I was like, The Rock's not in The Rock?
Yeah.
Yes, The Other Guys, that beginning part is so funny. Have you guys seen that?
The other guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning part is so
They're
good.
the other cops. They're like good cops.
They're like super cops, and they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
die.
Yeah. So funny.
You think of what I'm thinking? Aim for the bushes, and then they just jump off a building. So good. And one more cameo, because it always makes me laugh. Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore. The Price is Wrong,
there it is.
bitch.
One of my favorites
classic.
ever.
Such a classic.
So perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the ones where it's like, can't do that bit if you don't get him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Incredible. That one is a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Since it's getting close to October, I'll point out this is Uzi Suicide 666.
Most intense name of all
We don't
time.
ever say the 666, and it's just so funny. It's like a hat on a hat on a hat, because it's like the most intense username of all time.
Suicide.
Fucking insanity. Because it's like,
just holding an Uzi.
just
up
thinking
to
of the
your head
mechanics. I mean,
also,
like, this is
dude.
dark, but like I think about the mechanics of it all the time, and I'm just like,
Damn.
it would be one shot. It's just like any normal, whatever. Since it's getting close to October, I'll point out my favorite horror cameos. Hitchcock and anything, hell yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I was trying to spot the Hitchcock and try to spot the Shyamalan. Shyamalan's less hard. And Stan Lee, obviously.
Hitchcock's so fun because it's like, I feel like every time he cameos, it is like a Where's Waldo, where he'll just be like in the back of a restaurant and like get up and walk out. It's like
sometimes they're like tricksy too. It's like, oh, it's just a silhouette. I just recently watched Rope.
Mm-hmm.
Where was he in that? I assume he's in there. Cronenberg and Jason X? What?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in that. Takashi Miike in Hostel? I didn't know that. Sigourney Weaver in Cabin in the Woods? Hell yeah. Janet Leigh in Halloween H2O, because she is Jamie Lee Curtis's actual mother. As far as James Earl Jones goes, I'll list two favorite roles that I don't think anyone else will bring up. Thulsa Doom in Conan the Barbarian, and Kokumo in The Exorcist 2. You struck out, Uzi! Tokyo Slim brought up the same ones. With Cotolito. But Uzi was first, because we're doing these in reverse order, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. God, Exorcist 2 is so weird. Pazuzu!
I haven't seen that shit in so long.
It's been a long time. I think that's the Pazuzu one, right? Where they're saying Pazuzu over and over.
2 or 3.
Yeah. He's definitely the best part of that movie, and will sorely be sorely missed. A legendary talent. Hell yeah. Paul Rogers says one of the best all-time one-scene performers is Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Glen Ross. Yes.
Oh yeah, iconic.
ABC always be closing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've told this before, but I had a band in college called The Closers that we named after that rant. And then I met him in college. He was like hosting a thing for my theater school. And like he was like rushing out at the end, and I just like happened to be like, I happened to like be in his way for a second, and I was just like, "Oh, hey man, big fan. Like my band is named after your monologue in The Closer or in Glengarry Glen Ross." And he was like, "Oh, that's great, excellent." And then he just left. But then that was the night that like he was rushing out because like the like crazy rant he did on his daughter's answering machine had just dropped. Like literally had just dropped.
The,
He was like
you're a
where he's like,
pig
"You
or
fat
something?
pig" or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That, like he was like leaving in a huff, like in a panic.
Sorry, I gotta go. I have to go be mean to my daughter.
Yeah. Well, no, he like I think it had just come out, like it had just leaked. So it's like
Damage
I gotta go
control.
clean this up.
he was like
Yeah.
leaving to go start damage control, and that's right when I met him. It was just like so
That's
weird,
Crazy.
bonkers.
That is weird as hell.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so nuts.
You are a moment in history.
Yeah, exactly. It
Well,
was like,
many moments in history, but that was a fun Zelig type moment.
I remember thinking like, wow, he seemed stressed. Like when I met him, and I like felt bad for like wasting his time, you know. And then I was like, oh, oops.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, no, I feel fine about it. Other noteworthy. This is Paul Rogers continued. Other noteworthy one scenes. Drew Barrymore in Scream. Oh my god, so good. I love a good fake out where it's like you get like a huge name and then they're just gone, and you're like, oh
So
shit. Christopher Walken in Pulp Fiction. Hell yeah.
There it is, finally.
Oh, you've been waiting on that one?
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites.
So good.
Such a good scene. Like
It's such a
anytime a
good
big actor, anytime an actor can come in and like get through the distraction element,
Yeah.
you know, to just deliver some powerhouse monologue like that, dude. Walking in
The
Pulp
thing
Fiction.
about the watch, right?
He hid
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. It's your birthright.
Yeah.
Oh, it's classic. Harvey Keitel as the wolf in that is also a good standout brief.
Although you know who is a terrible cameo, awful cameo in that movie is Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino? Yeah.
Fuck that cameo. He has no right to be in that movie. You know, like at the time, I have to admit, I thought like he's a cool director.
Yeah.
Director. He is doing like the Hitchcock thing.
The
He's
thing,
putting himself
yeah.
in the
Oh,
movie.
he's doing the
And
thing.
like, oh, he's doing ironic racism. It's not real racism.
Yeah.
Right now, it sticks out so terribly.
It does,
Sticks out so terribly. Like, there's no reason for him to be like so racist. Like, his racism is not funny.
No.
It's not
Yeah.
cool. It's awful. And like,
Yeah.
you know, you can put yourself back in the time and like, okay, but still, it's awful.
it's-
It makes the movie like hard to watch now.
Yeah, I don't like that scene.
To me, it's like, because people always say like, oh yeah, like, oh, back in the 90s, it's like, obviously, like, and I know you mean this too, but it's like, to me, it's just like, it's so glaring that anyone ever thought that was okay. Like, that he thought it was okay. Like, even him writing Django Unchained, I'm like, nah, dude, like, I don't know. This isn't your story, dude. Like,
He helped make it okay. Honestly, scenes
Yeah.
like that helped make ironic racism okay. And like there are so many parts of that movie that are incredible, and that is not one of them for sure. That is a really bad. It drags the movie down like
Yeah.
an anchor
does
in the
not age
sea.
well, for sure.
I mean, the one I think about that's so random is Shaun of the Dead, when he says the N-word, his friend, whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Oh, I don't remember that.
He comes out of the house, he's just like, what's up, my N-words, or whatever, you know? And I'm just like, even as a kid, even at the time, I was like, that's not funny. Like,
Yeah.
dude.
Doesn't age well.
No.
Although Quentin Tarantino, on the subject of cameos, True Romance is just cameos
And
left
he's in
and
everything.
right.
He's in everything too.
He
So
puts in-
that's
yeah,
why,
he's
like,
in all
aside
of
from the content, him being in the movie, I'm okay with.
No, yeah,
retrospectively,
yeah.
because he's in.
Oh, that I
everything.
mean that movie is just stuffed with.
Desperado and
Yeah.
Dust Till Dawn. Like, yeah.
I mean, I
True
love
Romance has great cameos in it. Just like
Which one?
True Romance.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
stuff left and right with great. I
Oh,
don't know
then
if the
maybe I'll
cameos
rewatch
because
that.
maybe they weren't like stars at the time. But looking back, like Val Kilmer as
Brad Pitt's
Elvis,
star was rising at the time.
and Brad Pitt, yeah, as the stoner, like
which is a
yeah.
great role.
I need to rewatch True Romance and Thelma and Louise.
I've never seen Thelma and Louise.
What?
Which seems weird. Like, that seems like what I should see.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely see that
Yeah.
movie for sure.
Classic They Were Roommates movie. I should probably watch it. Yeah. I love Brad Pitt when he plays like weirdos. Like 12 Monkeys Brad Pitt is just so good.
Oh yeah.
Does that count as a cameo? 12 Years a Slave, Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that.
He just kind of
Shows
show
for
up
the one
randomly
scene.
there. Like,
That is random, yeah.
You're like,
The,
Brad Pitt. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I
never
like
produced
Quentin
that movie,
Tarantino in some stuff. Like, I love him in From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, I like that he often plays just like scumbags, which is kind of fun.
Easy.
It fits sometimes, yeah. It does fit
Yeah.
sometimes. But like, yeah, other times it's like, yeah, you're just showing your ass a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Paul Rogers again. And of course, the legend James Earl Jones in Sneakers. Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
We're the
That's
United
my
States
favorite.
government. We don't do that sort of thing. So good.
And I love when Rivers Phoenix is asking for like all these things, and Whistler's asking for all these things, and he's just like, "We'll see what we can do."
We'll see what we can do. Yeah. I love Sneakers, dude. Fuck off. I love Sneakers.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of a good one, Maverick. When they do the Lethal Weapon theme song for a second, and they what's his name? Glover's in there for a sec.
I don't know if I know Maverick.
Maverick the movie.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Maverick?
I don't know if
Classic-
is that a Western?
It's a Western
Maverick?
Mel Gibson joint.
Okay.
Jodie
Foster.
I think I have then.
I love it.
James Colburn.
James Coburn. Like
Colburn.
like obviously Mel Gibson has had like bad problems, but like Maverick rips, dude.
It's kind of like a comedy.
It's a comedy Western, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Silverado.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Silverado,
Early
great movie, too.
90s, mid 90s.
Now, I want to say 92.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I have seen that. Yeah.
Let me see if 94. I
Yeah.
have failed you. Maybe the weirdest fit for this category is Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. Only 16 minutes of screen time, but he dominates the movie. Yeah, that is Silence of the Lambs is like it fits in with like
Cameo, supporting character.
he's a support obviously, but like it counts. It all counts. But like Silence of the Lambs to me is one of those like it's like Home Alone or Hellraiser 1, where it's like the thing you remember is only 3 minutes of the movie. But I mean, like like she's incredible in that movie too. But
Just imagine Anthony Hopkins going, "Happy birthday to you," like long legs, or
oh my god,
"Mommy, Daddy,
Daddy, Mommy, unmake me. Movie's so stupid, dude. Like it's a fun comedy. I don't know. I can't take it. It wasn't scary for a goddamn whatever. Her house was scary. The beginning was scary.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. Oh, whatever. Shut up.
Sorry, I brought it up.
I'm telling myself to shut up, not you. Paul Ped, MTV Movie Awards Best Kiss winner, Tobey Maguire's fake trailer at the start of Tropic Thunder always makes me laugh. Yes, that is so good. Those trailers are so good. It's funny because like Tobey Maguire, like people, I don't know, you hear rumors that he's like he wasn't at the time maybe like great to work with, but like that, like him laughing at himself in that is funny to me. Like
Molly's Game.
yeah.
Sketch.
Yeah. But
Making
yeah,
people-
Sarah is like
Making people
supposed to
like
be his.
dog bark like a dog.
Isn't Michael Cera supposed to be him, right? In
Yeah,
Molly's Game? I've never seen Molly's Game.
Michael Cera, Twin Peaks.
Oh my
What's his
god.
name? Wally Brando. That's his
Wal-
name, right? Wally
he
Brando
just- I love that. It's so
comes
bizarre.
out with like the jacket, right? And it's a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like cadence. Oh, it's maybe
Just
Michael
doing-
Cera's finest moment. Yeah.
Doing this weird James Dean Marlon Brando. He's like literally wearing Marlon Brando's outfit from whatever, I think.
You're like, what would Lucy and Andy's kid be like? It would be that. It would be that.
Robert Forster is like the perfect foil for that scene.
Oh, the
'cause he's just like
straight man. Yeah.
patiently like
just like-
acceptingly watching all this, but like not impatient, but like kind of just like barely paying attention. It's perfect.
I hate to be the Martin Short of our podcast here. Like I thought about this earlier. Like I am totally the Oliver Putnam of Only Murders
love
in the
Only
Building.
Murders in the Building.
Like I'm the like older one with like the puffy hair
like
with
4
all
years
the
older than me.
with all the anecdotes. But like I was next to Robert Forrester. I was next to Robert Forrester in a parking lot in
Oh my
LA
God.
and like waiting.
Was it
to
at the
pay,
Silver Spoon?
Waiting to pay in the meter, and I was just like, oh my god, you're like one of the best actors who's ever lived, and I'm behind you, and we're just waiting for like maybe like 10 minutes, and I was like, I didn't say anything just because like I admired him too much. I just like admired him too much. I was just like, yeah.
It's
Anyway,
funny 'cause
that's it. There's no story there, but
Well,
like he's there. He's there.
He was a mainstay of this place that's now closed in LA called the Silver Spoon, and it was like a diner that had been there forever. And my
Where
friend,
is it? Where is the Silver Spoon at?
I think it was in West Hollywood.
Okay.
Maybe like Hollywood proper, kinda, but like it was like kind of southwest of Hollywood. It's been closed for a while, but he was like a mainstay haunt of the Silver Spoon, and like he had a table, and like I went there with my friend Elric like 2 or 3 times, and we're both filmmakers and huge film nerds, right? And like, and he would always be there in the same table reading scripts or whatever, just chilling, but like the kind of unspoken LA code is like we didn't approach him or whatever, but I was just like always just quietly like, I'm in the same room as Robert Forster again. Like this is the greatest thing that's ever
like Huber, you're a Jackie Brown like fan,
love Jackie
right?
Brown.
Max Cherry, dude.
Oh my
Max
god!
Cherry.
Oh my god!
One of my
Like,
favorite
he just,
characters.
like, he controls that movie.
Oh, he's so good in it.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable.
And when Samuel L. Jackson tells him, like, I bet it was your idea to take that picture, wasn't it? And he just looks back at him, like, the expression on his face is just like, it says so much in his eyes.
good.
It's just like, the flow of that movie, all with Robert Forster. Yeah.
It's so funny. It was my least favorite Tarantino for so long, and it's one
Me
of those
too.
ones where it's like when you get older and more
Yeah.
patient,
Yeah.
like,
I think it's
one
like
of the best. It's so good.
I think it might be my favorite Tarantino because he didn't write it. So it's like it's his like off kilter, or maybe he like I'm sure he punched it up, whatever, but like or it's like based on,
You just
read-
adapted, yeah.
The book is so different, though. The book is so different.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. It's a lot of Tarantino's ideas, and
No,
it's so
obviously.
funny because that movie has a lot of like awareness of racial issues, and I just talk so much shit about like,
Right.
Quentin
It's
Tarantino,
very weird.
and it shows so much like growth between Pulp Fiction to Jackie Brown, and it's like he has that awareness there, and
Yeah.
it was just interesting to see both movies from the same director. Yeah.
I mean it's
Yeah,
weird
he
like
wrote it, Isla.
what?
He wrote it.
He wrote it? He adapted it.
the screenplay. Yeah.
What I meant was like it wasn't just fully his like he was tethered to something, which
Yeah.
I think is helpful for him. Like he needs an editor or a tether. But it's funny because like I don't think he's racist. I don't think he ever was, but like I think he's always been trying to like call it out. But the way he did it, I think was maybe
Sloppy. Yeah.
sloppy and like hasn't aged well. Like maybe was provocative and like doing something in the 90s, but like now is just like, yeah, we could have done that in a better way, like for sure.
The context is just missing, and
Yeah,
now it's just
yeah.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met while we're just dropping who we've met in this episode. I met we're doing cameos of our own life. Like that's what it
Yes,
feels like when
exactly. There
meet
we go.
stars,
There
yeah.
we go. I got a lot more to drop.
I met Pam Grier and she was incredible.
did?
She was amazing.
my God.
She spoke at my theater school, before I got kicked out. She was great. She's wonderful.
Isla Hink met Pamela Grier.
Very good.
Oh, that's great.
Mark Hallinan. My favorite cameos are when someone very famous makes an appearance and it's unrecognizable due to being masked or hidden. Bonus points if it's uncredited. Examples include Daniel Craig as a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens and Kate Blanchett as a masked forensic investigator in Hot Fuzz. Wow, I didn't even know about that one. That's cool. Is your portrait Dan Stevens? Mark Hallinan on on our Patreon? Or is that
us
you?
know.
'Cause
Comment
you
in
look
the
like
YouTube.
Dan Stevens. If that's you. Yeah, tell us next time. I think we asked that last time too. Spencer from Canada says Bullet Train has Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock, and Ryan Reynolds. That's good. Yeah, oh yeah, she like shows up at the end. Spy Kids 3D, Elijah Wood. I feel like he has some good ones. I remember he shows up. Well, just him being in Yellow Jackets was surprising to me.
Yeah.
And he's good at that.
He's great
He's
in that.
really fun in that.
It's really funny to me. There's like a certain class of actor where like they're just doing an act, like they just got an acting gig. Like it is literally their job, but you're like, oh wow, they got him. Like they got that guy. Like, but it's like, yeah, he's an actor. Like he's hireable. Like you're just, I'm like, I don't know, why am I shocked that an actor is acting in something? Like,
I know what you mean. Exactly.
But you know what I mean, right?
Exactly what you mean. Yeah.
21 Jump Street, Johnny Depp. That was a good one. Yeah. Zoolander, David Bowie. David Bowie, dude. David Bowie in fucking Twin Peaks. Like,
David Bowie in The Prestige.
It's
I
weird to
rewatched The
watch.
Prestige. That's what I
Prestige,
watched.
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, David
The
Bowie as Tesla in The
Prestige.
Prestige is incredible.
I had been wanting to rewatch that for like 10 years, and I finally did, and it is still one of my favorite movies ever made.
It's
That
so
movie
good.
is
The Prestige is incredible. I love
masterpiece.
I love
Masterpiece. Yes.
it. David Bowie in Twin Peaks is like maybe among like the most batshit insane and most like impactful, like lore wise cameo. Like he's on screen for all of like 4 minutes, and he drops stuff that is like the entire plot of The Return.
Season 3. Yeah. At the time, I was like, what the shit is this?
Yeah, you're like, what
this
the
doesn't
fuck are
even
you
make
talking
any
about?
sense.
Who's
and then
Judy?
like, okay, it takes like 15 years later or whatever. Then you're
25.
like, oh, okay. Yeah. Finally. Okay, David Bowie. I'll allow it.
He's a teapot now, but you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Watch Twin Peaks if you haven't, everybody. Oliver Leland, I am delighted to see this topic because I am obsessed with a cameo at the end of Robert Altman's The Player, which I almost don't want to spoil, but I will anyway.
Thank
love
you.
this
Let's
movie.
spoil it. Yeah, let's spoil it. This won me over on the movie. I wasn't sure on when I was watching the movie, and then this happened. I was like, okay, yeah.
Oh, I've always loved this movie. I love that it starts with a long take, and then during the long take, it's a bunch of Hollywood douchebags complaining that movies don't start with long takes anymore. I don't know. That's funny to me. The film is about a Hollywood producer played by Tim Robbins who fields pitches for screenplays and accidentally murders a writer he believes is threatening him anonymously. I gotta rewatch The Player, dude. The rest of this movie plays out like a dark comedy / thriller. If this sounds good to you, stop reading this comment and go watch this movie. On to the cameo. Okay, spoiler warning. Come back in 40 seconds or whatever if you don't want to be spoiled on this. There's an ongoing thread where Richard E. Grant's character has pitched what he believes is his masterpiece, and he is adamant that it must have an unhappy ending. The Player ends with a screening of his movie, but just when it looks like things are about to go south, in walks Bruce Willis to save the day. Yeah. Sorry I was late. Traffic was a bitch. I love
Traffic
it so
was a
much.
bitch. Yeah. My roommate and I used to say that to each other in college all the time. Yeah. He was obsessed with the movie The Player.
I
Shout
love
out
that
to
movie.
Gabe.
It's one of my
Best
favorite
dude,
Robert Altman movies because people don't just like mercilessly speak over each other in The Player as much as in his other stuff.
Yeah, Robert Altman frequently leaves me cold, but The Player is one that I could get with. Mostly because of this line. This line, I was like, okay, movie. this is a great line, great sense of humor. Okay.
I remember feeling like it was kind of like The Game to me, but I don't.
I can see
haven't
it.
seen The Player in a
I
long
can see
time.
it. Yeah.
And I mean, I love Tim Robbins. Like, I'm a big
yeah.
Hudsucker Proxy fan. Like, yeah,
For kids.
for kids. So good.
Love Hot Sucker Proxy.
Oh, it's amazing. As for the late JEJ, gotta go with Coming to America. Oh yeah, for real. Obviously his voice work is unparalleled, but Coming to America, he gets to play a more comedic role, even if he's usually the straight man. I love when he first arrives in America and is wearing this lion pelt complete with an intact head. Some guy at the barbershop grabs it and says, "This is beautiful. Is it velvet?" I love those movies. I even like the sequel. Coming to America is so fun. Oliver Leland. As for anything else, everyone please watch Scorsese's After Hours if you haven't already. Love and respect.
Yes!
Hell yeah.
After Hours, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love
heavily influenced a lot of my writing that I've done with Isla.
I remember you told me about that one when we were starting our the feature that we've finished writing already. And like, yeah, immediately I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, this is a similar kind of like the story and the vibe is way different than what we wrote, but like the vibe kind of generally is like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Saw some of my lesser character qualities in Griffin Dunn's character. I'm like, I recognize myself and I don't like it. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. But amazing Martin Scorsese movie. Yeah, very existential. It's like Camus, like The Stranger, but updated for New York in the 80s.
Oh, I never thought to make that comparison, but you're so right. Yeah, it's very The Stranger. Yeah, I bought that on the Criterion Blu-ray. It's good.
Oh yeah, I got the 4K one. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick. Oh right, I meant to mention this. The screenings are all sold out, but Tarsem's The Fall is getting a 4K restoration through Mubi. I guess
Mubi. You can
is
watch
like...
it on Mubi now. I think.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess Mubi is like legitimate. I always thought it was like.
Movie's good.
Is it?
Like, movie like dictates what you can watch, and it's got a very small selection of movies, and it's way too expensive. Too expensive, but that's what it costs to support good indie movies. It just costs money to support things that are good. So it's expensive. It's like if you're well-to-do and can support them. I got them on a deal, and so I got them for like $5 a month for 6 months. Then you can watch a lot of good shit. But yeah, Mubi's good. Mubi put The Substance out in theaters.
Well, I got an ad on Instagram after I'd already seen The Substance, but Mubi was like, hey, here's a weird deal. If you do $19.99 a month, you get to see, I can't remember if it was once a week or once a month, but like a screening in a theater that they're doing included, but they dictate what it is. And then you get access to their streaming service. Like that's a thing they're doing now, where it's like, I wish I remembered how many a month you got, but it was just like real life stuff and Mubi. Like I was like, oh, that's kind of a cute idea. I'm not gonna do it, but
I like saying it.
Yeah, they've been around for like maybe like 8-9 years. They've been around for a while since like Filmstruck, and they've got like it's just a set dictated 100 movies, and they're good. Weird. It's not a lot, but they're good, and then it rotates. So check them out.
Mubi.
So if you love movies, like if you're hardcore,
there's sort of more a competitor for like Criterion Channel then.
Exactly. It's like artsy stuff and more recent artsy stuff in the last like 20 years. That's kind of what they carry. Yeah.
Mubi. I'm intrigued. Mubi.
Yeah.
Mubi. I guess maybe I like thought it was Tubi, and I thought that was like.
Nah, well, Tubi is legit too. But
Tubi's legit too.
Tubi is legit. Lots of ads.
Tubi's legit.
Like Tubi is more like Battlestar Galactica.
Tubi is a good last resort.
Good last resort.
Yeah. If you can't find something, it's on Tubi.
But it has commercials.
Yeah, it's got ads, but
Mama don't truck with
last resort.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're desperate.
Huber's correct.
All right. I mean, I was
trust Tubi and Hubie.
I was telling Sophia about The Fall like 2 months ago when we were in Norway, and I couldn't get it on anything over there. I was like, let's watch The Fall. And she was like, what? And she was like partially falling asleep because she was like still getting over COVID that we got at Gamescom. And I couldn't find it, but I found it on YouTube, illegally uploaded with, I think, Vietnamese subtitles. And I put it on for like 10 minutes, and both her and her mom were like, I can't. Like, this is just, the quality wasn't great. Like,
movie
the subtitles
already.
were like crazy. Yeah. Like totally a different language. Anyway. Beto's Burrito cameo here. Mike Myers in Inglourious Bastards. It's super kooky one-off performance, but it really fits.
The general or something.
He isn't he like
He's like high up.
was he what's his name? Yeah, he like shows up as what's his name for like 2 seconds.
That's a good Tarantino. Also, that's Tarantino. Like,
I like Inglourious.
what do they call
Refined.
like boxing above your weight? That is like hardcore. And he said that he watched In the Mood. Not what is it called? Like the oil movie from Paul Thomas
There Will Be
Anderson.
Blood.
There Will Be Blood. Yeah, I almost said In the Mood for Blood.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood. And he said, "Oh shit, I really need to step up my game." Like my fellow classmates, right now are doing really, really, really great cinema, and I need to do better. And
Dude, Once Upon a Time in
these
Hollywood
Bastards,
has like that PTA vibe a little bit.
It
Yeah,
kinda does,
it's very worldly. It's very, very worldly. Lots of references to classic cinema. Really, really smart dialogue and
So good.
grapples with history in an exploitative but also intelligent way. Like it's a smart Tarantino. Yeah,
And I think it is two of his
fuck up
all-time
Nazis.
two of his all-time best scenes, like the farmhouse scene, the interrogation there, and then the bar.
The bar scene.
Or
The
just,
bar scene,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Some of his best like pacing, best writing, best character work. Like, yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Zach Wojnar says there are so many kinds of cameos. There's beloved actor in a small role, like Harry Dean Stanton in The Avengers, asking if the Hulk is an alien. Then there's the celebrity illusion role, illusion with an A, like James Doohan and Bruce Willis as Scooty and John McClane, respectively, in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. Then there's person who shows up at the end for one juicy scene but may or may not be regarded as a cameo, like Sigourney Weaver in Cabin in the Woods, Ed Harris in Snowpiercer, and Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. Yeah, good ones. Then there are franchise...
Sorry, I was just his line
Marlon
from
Brando?
Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah. The horror. I fucking love Apocalypse Now. Like,
Perfect movie.
anyway,
The book's good. The book's good too.
Heart of Darkness?
Yeah, the book's
I've
good.
read that.
I mean, I know like that book has some racism also. And that's one of the another thing that grapples with racism in maybe a racist way. I understand, but
I mean, they had us
yeah.
read it in high school, and I was just like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm 14. Like, what are you doing to me? But then I watched
hardcore
Apocalypse
shit.
Now, and I was like, this is tight. I like the documentary about Apocalypse Now as well, Hearts of Darkness.
Yeah.
Then there are franchise-specific cameos like Stan Lee in Marvel movies or Bruce Campbell in the Sammy Raimi movies. Pizza Papa always gets paid. Yeah. Then there are cameos that are more like Easter eggs, like members of E.T.'s species in The Phantom Menace, yeah, R2-D2 in Star Trek 2009, or the critters from Slither showing up in Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's funny. Slither, what a movie. Shout out to the love affair between Ryan Reynolds and Chris Evans. Chris was in Free Guy and Statute of Limitations having expired, Deadpool and Wolverine, while Ryan made a memorable cameo in Chris's Apple TV Plus movie Ghosted. God, Ghosted sucked ass. Which also featured an extended sequence of where a series of short-lived assassins are played by Anthony Mackie, John Cho, and Sebastian Stan. Yeah. But the best cameo is Dick Cavett, who has several 10 out of 10 cameos, including Beetlejuice, one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and Forrest Gump, in which he's, I think, the only historical figure who actually plays himself. Interesting. I need to remember who Dick Cavett is. Oh, that guy. I've Googled him, and now I remember what he looks like. Cool. I just realized that Forrest Gump is what made me spell the word forest wrong for like most of my teenage years. I was always putting an extra R in there.
Forrest.
2 out of 3 of those movies are phenomenal. Forrest
You're a
Gump,
Forrest Gump hater,
Beetlejuice,
right?
and Nightmare on Elm Street.
You're a Forrest Gump hater,
And
aren't you?
all 3
I think I know this.
are horrifying in different ways.
I think Forrest Gump on reevaluate, like at the time I was like, oh, Forrest Gump, but then you like reevaluate it and you're like, this is a politically weird movie. isn't
There's
it?
There's a lot of things.
It's pretty
things
backwards,
fucked
I
up.
think.
Yeah.
But at the time,
Under the
again,
surface, yeah.
90s, I was like, not thinking about it. Garrett Hallfish says, I've always enjoyed hearing John Ratzenberger in almost every Pixar movie. 23 so far, yeah. His voice is iconic and feels like Pixar's Stan Lee cameos. Also deserves a shout out. However, it bums me out that he stopped doing these cameos after Lasseter's exit. He apparently didn't agree with the younger directors. I may not agree with his political views, but his voice is still a huge part of my childhood. Yeah, didn't Lasseter exit because he sucked? Well, whatever. Jason Wojnar, what's your favorite cameo? Not a cameo in the sense of, wow, a famous person showing up for 5 minutes, but... Okay, hang on. Antonina Makismova in Ballad of a Soldier is one of the most powerful short supporting roles I have ever seen. She plays the main character's mother. It's a lot of good, historically, a lot of good, parents, played by, heavy hitters.
Definitely.
It's about a Red Army soldier in WW2 who has been given 3 days leave to see his mother, but his good deeds to strangers and interactions keep eating away at the time he can spend with her. That's a good premise. By the end, they are only able to share a few short moments, literally less than 5 minutes, before he is forced to return to the front. If I recall correctly, she is only in the opening credits and then the last 5 minutes or so. I can't watch their scene together without sobbing. It borders on melodrama, but it remains absolutely sincere and grounded. That sounds really good. Anything else? The Venice Film Festival and the Toronto International Film Festival screened a documentary called Russians at War, made either by complete idiots or propagandists who know exactly what they are doing. Director Anastasia Trofimova embedded herself with a Russian brigade for over half a year, and the documentary attempts to humanize the invading soldiers. Those who have seen it already say it fails to provide proper context for what the Russian soldiers are doing in Ukraine, and instead constantly tries to make you sympathize with them. There's a lot to get into why this is a harmful movie, especially presented without outside information, but here are just a few examples of how you can see through the transparent propaganda. The director was given a uniform by the commander so that she wouldn't accidentally be shot, something said in interviews, because Russians shoot at civilians. 2, the director says she didn't witness any war crimes, nor does the film bring up the tens of thousands of documented war crimes like executing civilians or regularly targeting civilians with missiles. 3, the director says she reached the brigade without the permission of the Kremlin, a preposterous claim considering the chokehold Russia has on media and press in the country. She also didn't receive permission from Ukraine to enter Ukraine because it was filmed on Ukrainian territory. 99% of what you see from Russia is what they want you to see. There's a reason people know who Alexei Navalny is, but can't name a single indigenous activist within the country. Yeah. I don't know who Alexei Navalny is, I don't think. The name sounds familiar, but... Fuck him. That sounds fucked up. Goldsmith, Val Kilmer playing Elvis in True Romance is pretty damn good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I second Bowie and Zoolander. As for James Earl Jones, it's got to be Vader and Tulsa Doom from Conan. Am I saying that wrong? Tulsa? It's got a TH. Is it Tulsa Doom or Tulsa Doom? Because Tulsa's not spelled like that. I don't know. Conan, but goddamn, he can do no wrong in my book. As a second, not really cameo, hence its place in a reply in my own post. And on the topic of True Romance, Brad Pitt as the stoner roommate is pretty perfect as well. Yeah. You had something to say about Val Kilmer as Elvis?
No, just thumbs up again.
Yeah.
I love Brad Pitt also. Stoner. Can you pick up some cleaning supplies?
I love when Val Kilmer pops up and stuff. He's so wild. I mean,
I don't think
Top
you
Gun
ever
Maverick.
actually see him in True Romance. You just see his hand point out. He's like, Clarence, yeah.
Val Kilmer's best role, either, what is it? Do you give it to Doc Holliday in Tombstone or Heat?
Both great.
Oh, I
Right.
think Doc Holliday was pretty.
Yeah.
Doc Holliday.
iconic,
I've been itching to rewatch Tombstone for like 4 years.
Oh.
I need to rewatch that one. I love.
I know
that
y'all.
movie.
Oh.
Neither of y'all like the original Top Gun, but
I've
when
never
I was
seen
a
it.
kid,
I think it's okay.
okay.
I think it's okay.
When
I
I was
love
a
Top
kid,
Gun Maverick.
When I was a kid, I thought Val Kilmer was like the villain. Iceman was the villain in the original Top Gun.
Yeah, the rival,
because
right?
he was like so like mean, and he was like a dick to like Tom Cruise's character. And now as an adult, I look back at that movie. Tom Cruise was totally fucking reckless, and Val Kilmer was trying to keep him safe.
Yeah,
and like
totally.
he's actually nice to him when something tragic happens. And I'm like, oh. Val Kilmer was not a bad guy at all. Looking at it with adult eyes, like empathetic eyes, I was like, oh, shit, I had this wrong as a kid. Yeah. Anyway, just interesting way to relook at it. Movies change as you get older.
They sure do.
Shout out to Salton Sea, which I really love that he's in. Oh Lord, what is the name of that movie? Not Sicario, obviously, but it has a name like that. The one where I have Indicate That You Heard Me.
Indicate that you heard me.
Indicate That You Heard Me.
Huh.
That
That sounds very familiar.
It's got
What is
like
it?
one word,
It's a
one
one-word name, and
harsh
he's-
name, like Patriot.
I feel like it starts with an S, and he's trying to rescue a kidnapped girl. He's in a
Oh,
movie called
God,
Bloodworth, as someone named Warren Bloodworth.
That is bizarre.
Indicate that you heard me. What is that?
Well, I can't. It's like I loved this movie as a kid. Spartan.
Spartan.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, he's also in that Shane Black movie.
Kiss Kiss
What is
Bang
that?
Bang.
Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah, he's pretty
Love
funny
Kiss
in
Kiss
that.
Bang Bang. Gay Perry, dude. So good.
Those aren't cameos, but just for giving
I mean,
some
he's
Val
just
Kilmer love.
we're just talking about Val Kilmer movies.
I gotta watch Spartan.
Spartan, dude. You'd love Spartan. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was fucking 15, but Spartan
Dude, it's
rips.
David
That's
Mamet
David
joint.
Mamet, right?
That's David
Spartan's
Mamet.
Directed, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That was back when Mamet was just like putting
The
out like these
fuck?
weird bangers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. A topic we could do is like impersonations, or like not impersonations, but like playing someone else, you know, biopic.
Hopefully not us doing impersonations.
No,
'cause- Okay.
Timothy Chalamet is like, what's his name? Bob Dylan is like pretty spot on.
Oh yeah, it looks so good.
I wonder if they're gonna, because Bob Dylan is like not a perfect person, right? Like, I wonder if they're gonna.
Oh, I don't know anything about Uncle Robert.
I don't know much about him either.
No one is perfect.
No one
Perfect
is
is the
perfect.
enemy of good.
I know his quote when he went electric though, because my roommate and I used to say it to each other in Chicago all the time. We'd be like drunk and we would be like, "I don't believe you. You're a fucking liar."
You know, here's the thing about the separating the art from the artist. And I know I am always on here like being like, here's the crime of this particular person. And then I like don't mention the crime of somebody else that I love. It sounds so hypocritical. And like often it's because I don't know what
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have done. And like I don't want people to not enjoy the things that they like. I don't want to take away art from people that they love. Like please do enjoy things. Usually it comes down to me having heard something and like it resonating with something that like bad that's happened in my life, and it's not like I can't relate to that like lofty position of separating the art from the artist. It just means that I'm not able to like
Yeah.
on an emotional level, but it doesn't mean that like I don't want people to enjoy art. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. I just know because I always feel like I'm shaky hand moralist, and I don't want to come off that way.
I worry too, and like I try to like stop myself sometimes, because it's like I always have like a vague memory of someone being like, they're not good, but I don't remember the specifics because like I don't clutter my mind with that kind of shit, you know. So it's just like I feel like I should just not say that if I don't remember.
I know.
the
I think it's good.
specifics.
I think it's good to talk about. I think it's good to talk about because, like, obviously, like sometimes you don't want to channel money towards people
Yeah.
who are still being awful. Like, for example, I hate to bring it up, like Woody Allen. It's okay if you like Woody Allen, but I have a hard time
Yeah.
giving money towards Woody Allen, who used to make my favorite movies. Like, Crimes and Misdemeanors used to be one of my favorite movies.
I
Oh my
love a
God.
lot of his stuff, yeah. And then I was
Yeah,
just like,
but-
oh no, you suck ass. Like,
It's hard for me to give money to him when he's writing New York Times op-eds about shit that he possibly did.
For it to
You know what I
really
mean?
affect me, it needs to be something like that where it's
Yeah.
like not only a very bad crime, but like multiple
and still
crimes.
actively, possibly
multiple times.
Yeah,
The one
Versus
bragging
like
about it.
versus like Homelander got into a bar fight, I guess, in like France and like smashed a bottle on someone, and like, it's like, all right, you're kind of psychotic, but like, was
Rein
it just
back
like
in, buddy? Rein it back
just
in.
like a one-off drunken bar fight? Did that person like instigate? Like, I'm not gonna like, boycott.
My thing is like there's obviously like the severity of the crime matters a lot, and then to me it's like if it's a pattern of continued behavior, then I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you suck. If it's like Russell Crowe threw a phone at someone in a fit of rage, I'm like, okay, that's a bad moment. Like people are bad, like everyone has bad moments, right? And like if you're under a microscope and you're a celebrity, like everyone's gonna hear about your bad moments. I mean, I don't know if he has other examples, like whatever, that just came to mind. But like
throwing a phone is so crazy.
It's fucking insane. I'm not condoning it. It's fucked up and bad. Like don't do that.
Fuck.
But it's like, that's where I'm just like, I don't want to go to a barbecue with you, and like I probably won't rush out to see your shit, but like I'm not gonna like sing from the rooftops that you're a piece of shit.
Isla to go to a barbecue. She's like, nah.
No phones at the barbecue.
I'm good.
I'm good, leave
Russell.
your phones
Hide
in the
the
back of
phones.
the door.
Yeah, hide the phones. It was a corded phone. Like I think he threw like the base of a old rotary or something. I don't fucking know. But I mean, like obviously,
that is
like
one of the legendary stories.
Like J.K. Rowling obviously is just like a campaign of evil, and like Elon Musk is not a filmmaker, but like fuck everything he's ever done, and like Polanski's the one that fucking, because it's like I really like Chinatown. But like,
I've never seen Chinatown
every which way, because like he clearly did that shit, and it is unacceptable, and it is so fucked. And it's like I haven't watched Chinatown again since I learned that. Like I don't think I've watched any of it. I accidentally went to see Venus in Furs because I like that song. I love the Velvet Underground, right? And I didn't know he directed it, so I went and saw it in theaters, and it was me and like two other people. And then his name came up, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like I didn't even know. So that sucked. But yeah,
it's hard to navigate liking art. It's not non-political, but also when I talk about these things, I talk about them from like a personal perspective, not like I'm judging our audience or you or Isla or Huber. It's more just like me wrestling with my own involvement with art when I bring up these things.
Yeah.
I think that explains it. Yeah.
No, I definitely don't think like, like if you are making choices because you want to support that person's messaging, like that's one thing. But like, I don't think like if you incidentally, if Harry Potter just still means a lot to you, it's like, you're not a bad person. It's like, just please be aware that she sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and try not to give her any money if you can, I guess. But like,
that Rosemary's Baby prequel came out, I think.
Oh yeah?
Super weird.
God, he had some.
Is it her as like a teen or kid or
I think
what's?
so, yeah. It's got Julia Garner, Diane West.
Is it called
Apartment
Rosemary
7A?
is Baby? She's a baby in that one.
It's on Paramount Plus. I don't have that shit.
I got it from a friend actually, so I do have that shit. Usually I'm the provider of logins, but that one I'm aping somebody else's.
It got bad reviews, but Polanski's not involved whatsoever.
It would have
so
gotten good reviews.
I was hoping it was because I was like, oh, I can watch some Rosemary shit.
Yeah. I found Rosemary's Baby kind of dull when I saw it.
Oh, I love that one.
That was a long time ago.
It took a while to get that cool ending.
Yeah.
The ending's cool, but yeah, it took a while.
Nobody said my favorite cameo.
We got 2 comments left. Let's see if they get to it. And
Let's
then
see.
if they
Fingers
don't,
crossed.
then you do it, okay?
Nobody said it.
We got Zorgla. I mentioned 30 Rock for the Fourth Wall episode, and it's even more relevant here. So many episodes feature famous actors and politicians like Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, and Al Gore, as well as huge musicians like Bon Jovi, Weird Al, and Sheryl Crow, all integrated perfectly into the script. National hero Buzz Aldrin shows up to yell at the moon, Liz gets airplane advice from Oprah Winfrey, and Michael Keaton can't survive his last day as a wistful janitor. There's so many great cameos and small roles that you almost forget these are global megastars happily making fools of themselves on screen. Yeah, Futurama was good for that too. Like Al Gore showing up in Futurama and stuff is always so good. One more last couple here. Tyler Travis says David Bowie in Zoolander is just kind of perfect, and then See You When I Get There throws in Billy Zane from Zoolander as well. Those are both so good. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. Dude, it wasn't a cameo at the time because he wasn't big yet, but now Alexander Skarsgård in the beginning of Zoolander, when they're like, Earth Tamikis, like those guys, his friends, he's one of his like model friends in the very beginning. That's like, what's his name? Werewolf Boy in, as Flash Thompson in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. What?
Werewolf Boy?
D&D nerd,
Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello, yeah.
Manganiello.
Whatever his last name is.
Yeah.
Playing a 16-year-old, even though he's like 45. Clearly like 26 or 32 or something. He's gigantic. All right, Hubie, what is it? Nobody said it.
Stanley and Mallrats.
Oh, hell yeah.
Legitimately my favorite cameo ever.
He's got a lot of cameos, but that was an early one. Yeah,
that's pre-Marvel too.
I think it's his first cameo, actually. I think it was his first one.
Well, and he's playing himself, like, definitively in that.
And it's
I was obsessed with Mallrats as a kid.
Yeah. I just love it so much because it like ties so perfectly into the movie.
Yeah.
You know? Just like Brody's comic obsession. Like the whole movie is about like trying to find your love and like what love is, and then Stan Lee comes and just like drops some love advice, you know. It's just so good.
That's one of those that feels like it feels huge too, and it feels like beyond the reach of that movie.
Yes.
Like at the time as a kid, I was like so impressed. I was like, whoa, they got him. Like
totally. Yeah, that scene had gravitas for sure.
Mallrats and Clerks felt revolutionary, not just because of because of the price it was done for, because of what indie movies were doing at the time, but it was done at a time when filth felt revolutionary. Yeah. And maybe this goes back a little bit to what we were talking about with Pulp Fiction, where the context of the time, where culture was so conservative that when you were doing something so raunchy that it broke through that conservative bubble, that like being shocking felt like a revolutionary act. So Mallrats being so like kind of gross and in your face and raunchy and sexual, it felt like it was doing something like fuck the man or something. Now, it may not have that context anymore, so it may just feel like any other comedy, or some of the jokes may not pass the test of time. So I haven't watched it in a long time, but at the time it felt like very on the vanguard of like doing things that no other movies were able to do at the time.
Yeah. I was big into the View Askew-averse when I was a teen, like Clerks and Mallrats and
same. Yeah,
Clerks animated
Mallrats was
series.
Always my favorite. So much.
Bears driving. How can that be? All right. That's it. Any other ones that come to mind that no one mentioned?
Amy Mann and Big Lebowski.
Oh my God.
She's one of the nihilists.
Yeah.
she's like missing her toe. She's she got her toe cut off.
It's so funny. Speaking of View Askew-verse, Alison Morissette as God in Dogma is very funny.
Good one.
Is that who it is? Yeah, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah,
Alanis Morissette. Yeah. I think I said Allison. Alanis Morissette. Yeah, there's so many fun ones. Movies are fun. All right. Well, thank you for listening/watching this month. We will be back in the end of October, and we're obviously going to do something Halloween-y. We'll figure out a unique spin on it, or if you have any ideas, shoot them into the Discord. Join patreon.com/reactionshots. $3 a month. That's all we got. Check our Discord and our film club on Patreon. Yeah.
Thanks for all the great comments.
Thank you.
What a fun time.
I love it.
Yeah. So many great ideas on there. Thank you.
Yeah. Good bunch of people. Join up. Tell your friends.
All your friends.
Like us on whatever you're listening to us on.
Like us in your heart.
Like us in your heart. That's what we do this for. We just yearn to be liked.
I want to be your Sandlot boy.
All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.